All right, we are recording. So basically, I try to give you as many updates as I can. Last week, I gave you a Friday reminder. Always go to the announcement section on our Blackboard page, and that's where I'm going to give you reminders and things. I'm not going to promise to always put reminders up there, but as often as I can, I'll try to put a reminder up there just to kind of remind you, hey, Friday's rolling around. Make sure to hand in these things by the end of the day Friday, so you get your credit for those. And that way I just try to do those little things for you. Also, remember that you can watch the recordings of every single Zoom meeting. I'm always going to post those up in the announcements. For instance, if you go to click on this one here in the announcements, you can find let's see here. I guess it went all the way down here for one of the two classes. It was this particular class. I'm always going to post at least one class. I have two Comp 1s. It's going to be the same class twice, but anyway, you can always watch these over again. And it's kind of nice because you can skip, if you don't want to listen to my whole spiel again, you can just kind of skip over things and then go to the place where it's like, okay, that's what he said. That's what he wants me to do. So for today, we were supposed to, of course, read the essay. Well, actually, no, that's what I'm going to talk about today. Let's take a look at our syllabus, and we'll get started. All right. So you guys made it through week 1. You're pros now at school. Hey, we're all still learning, actually, and I am adapting to going virtual. Still, everybody's adapting, so just go easy on yourself, and we're all going to make it just fine. All right, so let's scroll down here and take a look at the things we're doing. So last week, oh, darn. Here we go. Okay, so for last week, we were learning college essay formatting. And all that was is I gave you a pre-formatted template to use with the Times New Roman 12-point font, all those things. And you use those to write a paragraph about yourself. And so you wrote that paragraph about yourself and you handed it in. And that was how we learned how to use that formatting. And it's also how we learned how to hand in something in the Blackboard page. So that's learn how to hand in a Blackboard assignment. We did that. Purchase books. Hopefully you got a chance to get the books. Really remember that the most important book is that inquiry textbook. Make sure you get that. You can get through this whole first essay without buying the books, but after that you are going to need your textbook, at least the inquiry textbook, in order to make it through the class. So make sure to get that. And you read the summary documents. Okay, so the summary documents, again, if you go to homework and assignments, all you had to do is just read them. I didn't want you to do a summary yet. You just had to read these 3 documents. And this is just essentially telling you how that summaries are done, okay? So this week, let's see what we have to do. So week 2, we're going to read the Essay 1 assignment sheet. So I'll do that with you right now. So we're just going to read the Essay 1 assignment sheet. We'll get some homework done together. If we go to homework and assignments, so we're always going to be in the process of writing an essay. Right now, we're going to start the process of writing Essay 1. So I'm going to give you that assignment today. Last week was kind of just like, hey, this is some basic stuff on how to be in Comp 1. Today, we're going to start Essay 1. So if you go to Essay 1 Project Materials, that folder in the Homework and Assignments section, you click there, and you're going to see in red, it says Essay 1 Assignment Sheet. And I'm just going to read this for you now. Okay. So the narrative essay. So we're going to write a narrative for Essay 1. And the required length is 650 words to 1,000 words. So I'd like you to give me at least 650 words, and don't give me any more than 1,000 words. If you give me fewer than 650, I count off. If you give me more than 10, or if you give me more than 1,000, I don't count off until maybe it's 1,100, and then it's like, hey man, you know, give it a break. You're going to use Times New Roman 12-point font, 2.0 spacing. Those are all done for you. If you use that template, that file that I uploaded for you, just use that every time and you won't have a problem. The next part doesn't really apply because you're not going to cite from the readings at all. So don't worry about that. And then let's see here. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the actual assignment. So while we learn a lot in school, we usually learn life's biggest lessons through experience. Each of us learns these life lessons different ways, but one thing remains the same. Experience is a powerful teacher. Some lessons are profound and deep, and others are simple but equally true. In this essay, you're going to think of a story from your life where you learned a life lesson, and you will use it to teach your reader a lesson that you learned. And what you see, the rest of this assignment sheet is describing the writing process. So the writing process is what we're going to use every time we write an essay. We're going to have the invention portion, the audience awareness portion. We're going to write a thesis statement and an outline, and we're going to do some peer review or some drafting. So as we go through this class, we have 4 essays. All 4 essays will require you to do these processes, okay? So the writing process is just gonna be a part of how we're gonna write all of these essays as we move forward. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about that in just a minute. But basically, this essay is pretty simple. I want you to think of a time in your life, think of a story in your life, and it doesn't have to be a major, huge story. Just think of a story in your life where you learned something. Or think about a story from your life that you could use to teach somebody something. That's really what you're going to be doing. You're going to teach a lesson using a story from your life. So it's pretty simple. And it doesn't have to be anything major. It can be, but it doesn't have to be anything really life-changing. For instance, I'm going to show you, I give you some videos that I use to help you along. But for instance, I give a story about how I learned. So I learned that sometimes it's best to just be happy with what you have. And the story that I tell is sometime when I was like 5 years old and I was jealous that my sister had more soda pop than I had. I went to the sink and I filled my cup up with water and I mixed it with the soda pop and I ruined my soda. And I realized that I should have just been happy with what I had because I ended up ruining everything. So, and I want you to watch, I'm going to show you some videos that I want you to watch this week. But I just want you to know, I don't expect you to tell me some kind of a great epic tale, right? It's just a simple story from your life that teaches a lesson. So don't overthink it. Okay, so we've read that. Cool, awesome. One part of our homework is done. So let's see. Next, learn how to brainstorm, cluster, and free write. See video in Essay 1 folder. Learn audience awareness. See the video in Essay 1 folder. Let me show you where to find these. So part of your assignment for this week, I want you to watch some videos. There's 4 videos total, and here's how you're going to find them. You go to the Comp 1 Blackboard page. You go to Homework and Assignments. You go to the Essay 1 Project Materials folder. And then you go to Lectures for Essay 1. Okay? You click on Lectures for Essay 1. There's 4 videos there now. Now, I'm going to add some more videos later this week. So you can't just, it's not like I'm saying watch all of the videos in this folder. But you're going to watch the 4 that are up right now. The Essay 1, if you want to write these down, I also have a reminder for you that I've already put up, but I'll show you that in a minute. The Essay 1 Primer. This is where I explain Essay 1. The Essay 1 Writing Process, the second video. That's where I explain all about the writing process. The Essay 1 Invention 1 video. and that's going to be our first piece of homework that I'll kind of guide you through. And then the Essay 1 audience awareness video. So these four videos, I want you to watch those. Watch those 4 videos this week. And I want you, as you're watching them, I want you to think about how you're going to do these things. So every time we have an assignment, every essay that we write, we're going to do the writing process. And at the end of the project, whenever we finally hand in the first essay, okay, Essay 1, if you take a look, it's going to be handed in down there in our Blackboard. But also, you're going to hand in all of the little pieces of homework that you did called process. So you're going to do a little exercise where you do invention activities. So brainstorming, clustering, and free writing. You're going to do an activity where you write about who you think your audience is. You're going to outline. You're going to do an outline for your essay. And then eventually you're going to put all those things together in a single Word document, and you're going to hand it in to the Essay 1 process points link. But it's not due until your essay is due. Okay, so let's take a quick look at that. This is something I want to clarify for everybody. So I'm saying I want you to watch those videos. That's essentially taking care of these 2 things there. So learn how to do those things. Now, the essay, so I'm assigning Essay 1 today, and I'm asking you to learn these things. Essay 1 isn't due until the Friday of week 5. So this is the beginning of week 2. So we've got plenty of time. We're going to do a lot of things. We've got plenty of time before we have to hand this essay in. Okay, the essay isn't due till week 5 on Friday. Also, on week 5, you're going to hand in your process stuff. So all of the things like your brainstorming, clustering, and free writing, your audience awareness paragraph, you're going to put it all in one Word document, and you're going to hand it in all together. Now, I don't want you to overthink this. I want you to watch the videos, and the videos will help you understand what we're doing, okay? Now, having said that, so we've already read, I'd like you to read the Essay 1 assignment sheet on your own, and I'd like you to watch those 4 videos. And then the only other thing I want you to do this week, I mean, it's almost too easy the way we're starting, okay? It gets harder, I promise. But week 2, it's still pretty easy. I want you to read the assigned readings. So I'm assigning you 2 readings, and this is where you're going to find them. You're going to go to the Essay 1 folder again, and you're going to see these 2 readings, The Subway Paradigm Shift by Stephen Covey and Learning to Play Chess narrative, okay? These are the 2 readings I want you to read. Now, just so you know, these will be the 2 things that you're going to summarize. And if you remember, last week, all I asked you to do, I asked you to read the summary instructions, okay? I asked you to read this stuff. So you're going to summarize those 2 readings that I just assigned, and they're going to be due. The thing is, they're not even due until, when is this? Week 4, Friday of week 4. So you've got 2, let's see, I guess, yeah, 1, 2, pretty much 3 full weeks to do these summaries. So don't wait till the last minute. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm telling you, I want you to basically work on it. I'm giving you plenty of time to work on it. And if you have questions along the way, I'm here. So having said that, read, all you have to do is just read those 2 readings and then take a look at the example summary. And if you take a look at this example summary, the summaries we're going to do are a lot easier on the first 2 readings. All I really want you to do is just focus in on, can I, in my own words, relay what was in the reading? We're not going to have to cite anything. I don't want you to worry about citing the works cited or anything like that. One of the articles, one of the stories has an author. The other one does not have an author. So if it doesn't have an author, don't worry about that. But basically, in the summary, you're essentially going to do something like this. In the short story, let's see, there's the first one is The Subway Paradigm Shift okay, Stephen Covey, and then you telling me what he does. Stephen Covey tells the story of learning to see things in a different light. Or Stephen Covey tells the story of an incident he had on a subway where his paradigm changed. Okay, I'm giving a few spoilers here, and it's okay if you use those on your first summaries, but essentially, you're just going to say essentially what happens in the reading, and then you're going to give me the little details. First, this happened. You know, you might say, and of course, I want you to read it first, so before we discuss what you should put in the summary. But essentially, you're going to tell me what happens in the stories in your own words. And that's all you're going to have to do for the summaries. Okay? But I want you to be thinking about that as you do the readings. They're not due this week, but I want you to think about, okay, how will I put this in my own words so that if someone were to read my summary, they would already know everything they need to know, all the basics at least, of the story itself. Okay. So the question is, I have a question. So there will be 2 different summaries for each reading, not one Word document. Yes, perfect. Thank you. There's going to be 2 summaries you're going to do. And let me just show you where you're going to hand those in eventually. So if you go to homework and assignments and you go to Essay 1 project materials, you can go down to where it says summary of reading 1 and summary of reading 2. You'll hand those into 2 separate places. And the first one will be the subway paradigm shift. The second one will be learning to play the chess. If you switch them around, it's okay, just as long as you hand them both in. Is there anything we have to turn in this week? No, there's nothing you have to turn in this week. Is there really 3 attempts to do it? Anisha, I tell you what, it might be a good idea if we emailed back and forth on that. But basically, yeah, you can hand it in multiple times, but I'm only going to grade it 1 time. I guess if that's the question. I'm not going to grade it and give it back to you, grade it, give it back to you. You only get it graded 1 time. It's just if you hand in the wrong thing the first time, this allows you to hand in the right thing the second time. Pedro, did you have a quick question?
Yeah. So I was trying to get an EDU email so I can get the Word Office, but apparently we don't get the EDU email. So.
Okay, real quick, I tell you what. At the end of this, I'll show you how to get an EDU email address. Thanks for that question, though. Okay, so whenever it comes to what is due last Friday, one thing I do want to remind you guys of is that you can always watch last week's Zoom video to find out what is due. So what we're going to be doing today, and each Monday, I'm going to be telling you what's due on the following Friday. And then I give you an example list. And if you forget, you can always go to the home page. If you click there. And for instance, last week, I gave you the Zoom and then also things to do by midnight of the 21st. And then, of course, on Friday, I also gave you a reminder of what was due on Friday. So you can always take a look at that. So real quick, let's just take a look at what was due on Friday. Really, the only thing was to hand in that paragraph that introduced you. Okay, and that was really all that was due. Okay. So I had a quick question. If we already, okay, guys, let's, on the EDU thing, I'll show you that later. So when it comes to working ahead in class, I'd rather you just stay with the class. If you want to hand it in today rather than Friday, by all means do. But stay with whatever week we are in. Okay. So all right, so we've got the things about the EDU stuff, but I'll show you here in just a minute. And then if this doesn't work, then you would want to call MIC and we'll go from there. Okay. Okay, so having said that, let's cover again, let's just review what we're going to do for this week. And then I'm going to cut you loose and we'll quickly we'll cover the EDU thing again. All right. And again, remember, anything, if you ever have a question on what's going on in the class, you can always take a look at the syllabus. Of course, you can rewatch the Zooms so you can get an idea of what was said in the Zoom classes. Okay, so for this week, read Essay 1, the assignment sheet. We already did that, so that's great, but I want you to take a look at that again. And then these two things, there's videos. Well, you need to watch 4 videos, okay? And again, it's the homework and assignments. You go there, go to Essay 1 project materials, and you can go to lectures for Essay 1. And then those 4 videos, I'd like you to watch those by Friday. All you have to do is watch them, but I'd like you to think about how, first of all, what story you're going to tell and how you're going to accomplish these things for your particular story. That's what I want you to do. And then if you take a look, your assignment, so I'm basically teaching you how to do invention activities and audience awareness. Now that will be due next week on Friday, okay? So complete the brainstorming, complete the audience awareness. We need to have those done. But you're not gonna hand them in until the Essay 1 is due. And then you're gonna hand all of the different stuff together in one document. And I'll tell you more about that in the weeks to come as we keep going forward. Okay, back to week 2. So we're gonna watch those videos. And then the last thing is read the assigned readings. And that is in the Essay 1 project materials folder, the subway paradigm shift, and learning to play chess. So for this week, there's nothing that you're gonna have to hand in, okay? For this week, I'm just asking you to stay with the class and to watch those videos to get a good idea of what is due for next week. After next week, as of next week, I should say, we're gonna be handing stuff in constantly, okay? I'm letting you guys have a really nice, easy build-up, but after this week, next week, every week, we'll be handing things in on a regular basis. Okay, now, does anybody have any questions over what I just went over? You can type it in or you can speak it, whatever.
Are we gonna have multiple assignments, like so to say, like active, you know, like you said that it, like the essay you can turn it in like the 4th week, but we're gonna have other assignments that we have to do before that too.
Right.
Okay, so it's gonna be multiple assignments that we have to do in between that time, right?
Correct. All right. I'm glad you asked that question, Pedro. Thank you. So for instance, we're always going to be working on an essay. But what is going to be, if you think we have this big essay we're working for, we also have homework assignments. And the 2 big things we do for homework, we work on our summaries and we work on the writing process. So as we're working on this essay, we have to do our invention activities like brainstorming, clustering, free writing. A lot of this is going to become clearer as you watch those videos. Also, we're going to be working on audience awareness. All of that is working toward that essay. It's stuff that helps us get to that essay. So does that answer your question, Pedro? Yeah, okay, great. Let's see here. So yeah, in the future, there's going to be multiple things you'll need to have accomplished by Friday. And only rarely will we actually hand things in, okay? So what I'm trying to get you guys to do is basically work towards this project, and then we're gonna hand in our homework with our essay, and then the only other thing we'll hand in on a regular basis is summaries. But every week I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. So this week, nothing needs to be handed in. All you need to do is watch the videos, read the 2 stories that are in our Essay 1 folder, and read the Essay 1 assignment. It's a pretty easy week. Next week, it starts to get a little harder, okay? So just work real hard on this stuff, and we should be fine as we move forward. Any other questions before we close this meeting?
In the last video, I accidentally had done that stuff, but like in the last video, it says to write a paragraph about basically everything you went over. Are we doing that this week?
In the last video, now which video are you talking about? The last week, the Zoom from last week?
No. For the lectures for essay one.
Okay, so what you're talking about is, let's see, you've already looked at the lectures.
Yeah, because
Okay,
I did them a week ahead on. I didn't mean to, but like I wasn't too sure on the paragraph, but then I saw that and I thought that was what our paragraph was supposed to be about.
I got you. I got you. Easy mistake. No worries. Well, I
Okay.
tell you what, these are things that we will be doing. It's just they're not due this week. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So, for instance, in the Essay 1 invention video, I'm going to give you an assignment in that video. It's not due this week, it's due next week on Friday.
Okay.
And the same with the audience awareness paragraph. You will have to write that, but it's not due this week, it's due next week on Friday.
Mhm.
That makes sense? And we won't even
Okay.
hand it in next week on Friday. I just want you to have it completed by next week on Friday. When we hand in all of these little things, we'll hand them all in one document, and we'll hand them in at the same time as Essay 1. And this is where we're going to hand them in.
And you
So
said it's all one document?
that's right. And it'll be handed in right here. You guys see where I'm pointing? Where it says Essay 1 process points.
Okay.
And don't worry, I'll guide you through, but just know that this week, nothing has to be handed in. All I want you to do is start working on these projects, okay? And then just watch the videos and they'll explain everything. And if you have questions, obviously, you can always email me. I'm here for you. So yeah, everything, we had a question. Okay, then everything is just turned in as bulk when the essay is due. That is correct. And if you want to know what's due next week on Friday, the nice thing is all you need to do is just go to the syllabus. So week 3, everything in that needs to be done, at least done by Friday. So we're not going to hand in this stuff, the brainstorming and audience awareness paragraph Friday, but we are going to have them completed. And like you said, we're going to hand them in bulk whenever we hand in Essay 1. And I'm glad you're asking questions. Thank you for asking questions. Any other questions? Yes, and if we do hand things in, I'm going to remind you. So for instance, I'm every week, like this week, every week we're going to get together like this, and then every week I'll let you know what's due at the end of the week. So okay, maybe there's a question about how to switch to a PDF. So if you're saving, let's suppose, and I had some people have this problem. They handed in a Pages, like a Mac, like if you have an Apple, you handed in a Pages document. Take a look, because I made a note of it on your paper, or maybe you handed in a Google Doc. So regardless of how you're saving it, there's going to be a way to save your essay, right? And then you always want to do save as. Now, I'm using Word here, but any of these programs will have something like this. So there's going to be an option where there's different ways you can save it, okay, as a Pages document or a Google document or something of that nature. And all you need to do is scroll down to where it says PDF, and then you can save it as a PDF. Oh, okay. So the question is, if you're doing it by hand, right? Maybe you're doing your homework by hand. All you need to do is take a picture of it and put it on your computer, bring it over to your Word document, just drag it over, and that's good enough. Does that make sense? And I tell you what, whenever we get to that point, I think, yeah, picture of it is fine. Picture of it is fine. And when we get to that point, I think what I'll do, I may just demonstrate how to do that so we're all on the same page, but that won't be for a little while now. So if you want to do stuff by hand, just keep track of it. I encourage you to do it by hand. The final essay, of course, will be typed, but yeah, the brainstorming, clustering, and free writing, write a paragraph about your audience, all of that stuff, you can do it by hand if you prefer, and then just take a picture of it, put it on a Word document, and that's what you're going to hand in. All right. Okay, guys. So this week is kind of the last of the easy weeks, but the whole goal is that you're building up. I want you to take a look around the website, take a look around Blackboard, get to know it really well. Even if you're not looking for anything specific, just click around and say, okay, well, no matter what, I'm always working on an essay in this class. I'm going to be working on essay 1 for a while. Let's look at what's in the essay 1 folder. Okay, this is probably where I hand something in. Just try to get used to the class environment. And that's why we're going slow to start off with. I don't want to throw you in the deep water too fast. Anyway, guys, if you have any further questions, you can email me. I appreciate those emails. If you do email me, please, before you ask me a question that we probably went over on the Zoom, watch the Zoom again. You can click through it, skip around. Try to make sure you're not asking me a question that we really did talk about in class, because the Zoom can help a lot. But if you do have a question, please make sure you let me know what class you're in. Make sure you let me know what your name is, and give me as much context as possible. That way I can give you as much help as possible. If you just give me a few lines, I may not really know how to help you. I have about 125 students, and it looks like I may actually have to take on another class, so I'll have 150 students. It is difficult for me sometimes, and a lot of different classes too. So it's hard for me sometimes to know how to help you unless you're giving me some information. Some of you guys are in my English 101 and 079 class, so let me know which class you're asking me a question about so that I can help you better. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here, and keep working hard, guys. I know it's a crazy time, but you guys are doing really well. And if you have any questions, let me know. Guys, have a good rest of your week, and I will see you on Monday of next week. Just watch for that. Invite. All right. Bye-bye.